The message I have for today is the book of Job. Um, when I read that book, I was quite inspired because Job was a right, a just man, and he literally lost everything. So I'm going to start reading in Job 1, verse 1. It says, "There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yokes of oxen, and 500 she asses, and a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East." So when I read that he was the greatest man of the East, I'm assuming that meant the richest man. So it'd be kind of like Elon Musk, maybe right now. I don't know. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, everyone his day. I don't want to. And sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." Thus did Job continually. So that verse was also um, a life lesson for me, because when I read that, I realized that uh, Job was maybe like kind of praying for his sons for forgiveness, and he did that continually. Now, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Whence comest thou?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro in the earth, and walking up and down on it, in it." I don't know, was he being sarcastic? Like he just said, I don't know, I just walked here. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, on that one that feareth God and sheweth evil?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Doeth Job fear God for naught? Hast not thou made a hedge round about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face." So I I think what I get out of that is, was Satan challenging God that if he took everything away, Job would curse him, because he was a very wealthy man. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand." So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. And there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job, and said, "The oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them, and the Sabians fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I am the only one, and I only am escape alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escape alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came another, and said, The Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell among the camels, and carried them away, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escape alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escape alone to tell thee. Then Job arose and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down on the ground, and worshipped, and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. So that was kind of amazing that he literally lost everything, and I don't think he was angry. I mean, I don't know what a mantle is. He rent his mantle, his coat. Okay. Robe. Okay. And he shaved his head. So he was, yeah, something was going on. He was feeling pretty down, but he fell down and worshiped God. But I think he also realized that the Lord gave him everything he had, and that he could take everything if he wanted to. And I think we have to realize that as well. Like everything we have, if God wants to, he can take it away. But and then it goes on. It says that in verse 2, 3 of Job's friends heard about this, and came and sat with him for 7 days, and said nothing. So that was probably intense. But and then in chapter 3, the first of the chapter, Job cursed the day that he was born. I wonder why he did that. Like, was he didn't want to live anymore, or maybe he regretted that he was alive. But then if I'm gonna go all the way back to the end of Job, chapter 42, and read from 10 to 17. And the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then came there unto him all his brethren, and all his sisters, and all they that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in the house, and they bemoaned him, and comforted him over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and every one an earring of gold. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job, later end of Job, more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, and 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she asses. He also he had also 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he called the name of the first Jemima, and the second Keziah, and the name of the third Karen. Verse 15. And in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. After this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died being old and full of days. So after everything was taken away, God gave him twice as much as he had, and he never cursed God, which I think that's what Satan at first was kind of challenging God, that if he takes everything away, he would curse him, but he never did. And the lesson I take from this book is, if we're faced with adversity, we have to trust God, because everything happens for a reason.